Let me get a microphone check. I think we are in business finally. All right. So give me 1 second. Let me make sure I get all of my things turning in at the same time. All right. Happy Thursday. Good morning. Good morning to all of my IEP moms, all my special education moms, every mother out there who is raising a child who learns or behaves differently. Good morning to you. Great morning to you. I am so excited to be on here today. I have had a word sort of sitting in my heart, and so I wanted to share it with you all to help make sure that I'm encouraging you along with this process. And so today's live is entitled SPED Moms, IEP Moms, You Deserve Peace Too. Like, you deserve peace also. And I say this because, again, I mentioned earlier this week that I had read this article in the New York Times and was reading about a mother whose child is on the spectrum and was doing a lot to try to take care of her children, her work, and meet the needs of her daughter during virtual learning. And I just was struck with, like, how long we have been in this process and how challenging it can be for all of us. And so I decided that I wanted to make sure that I was figuring out a way to help sort of lighten the load so that we are not all carrying this alone and without support. And so I can say, as a parent who's raising a child who learns and behaves differently, that it comes with a lot of extra meetings and calls and appointments and things to do that can be tiring sometimes. It can be mentally exhausting. It can be physically exhausting, emotionally exhausting. Great morning to you. Great morning for you. And so there just is a lot, right? We have to manage a lot. Having children is a lot. God bless them. They are definitely a gift, but it does require a lot and a lot in terms of our management. And then also, as women, just making sure that we are taking care of ourselves so that we can be feeding and nurturing so many others, right? They always say you can't pour from an empty cup. If you don't have it, you can't give it. And so it is so necessary for us as parents to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. And, like, as my mother always tells me, like, nobody's going to give you peace. No one's going to give you a break, right? Like, your kids are going to always come and ask you for stuff. My husband will be sitting right there and they're like it's like almost like he doesn't exist, right? So, like, someone is always going to be asking us for something. And as women, and especially as women of color in the workplace, there's a lot of assumptions that we just, like, want to work all the time and not be compensated for it. But that's, like, a separate topic. So all I want to say here today is that as parents, as mothers who are raising children who learn or behave differently, like, you deserve peace too, right? It doesn't have to be difficult all the time. And I want us to be okay with taking time to maintain and restore our peace and putting into practices that allow us to have more peace, that allow us to show up as our full, authentic selves and not just as the mom who's here at the IEP meeting trying to make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, not just the parent who's trying to make sure that all the services are happening and that, you know, people we're running to the appointments when we need to be there, et cetera. And I say that because I'm, like, literally, I have a doctor's appointment for my kid in like about an hour. So I got to, like, jump in here and jump out. So I understand on a personal level, like, what it's like to be trying to juggle and manage everybody's schedules. And then also have to juggle and manage what the school is or is not doing. And especially right now during this pandemic, during this virtual learning, remote learning experience, it really is requiring a lot of us to be parents and teachers, which we may or may not have signed up for. And so I tell people, I'm a forever educator. I taught fourth grade. I didn't sign up to be a high school teacher, guidance counselor, all those different types of things. In fact, for my oldest, who is on the spectrum, I was hoping that, like, by the time we got to this point, he would be doing a lot more of these things independently. And he is, and the school has really stepped in and providing him with different services and support while we are virtual, which I 1,000% believe is because of the advocacy work that my husband and I have been doing for years. But I also want to acknowledge that, like, one, everybody doesn't have the support that they need right now to show up as a mom, a wife, a partner, a employee, a boss, whatever it is, and your child's educator, case manager, data collection person, so on and so forth, to make sure that they're getting what they need. So I want to help to make sure that we lighten that load. One, I want us to do two things. One, be unapologetic about taking time for yourself. They have a quote, right, that you have to slow down to go fast. And I think that that's really apt here in this time, that while we are sharing the load of virtual learning as parents and parents whose children learn and behave differently, so they come with additional needs, we have got to be okay with saying all of these things can't happen right now at this exact moment. Like, I need to take a moment so that I'm showing up for myself and I'm showing up for my children in the best way, and I'm interacting with the school in the most effective way to get what I want my child, or I believe that they need. So it's really important that you just be unapologetic about taking time for yourself. I am of the school of thought that this is a gap year for kids everywhere. Like, I think it'll be fascinating what happens when we go back into school buildings in record numbers, and see what the products, what the fruit of virtual learning has been. Because I do believe that children are going to be in lots of different places, and that there are things that are really great that are happening and things that are not so great. And so as a parent of a child who's already in a position where they're not learning, quote unquote, what is typical or in the same path, I know that there's anxiety that comes with, where's my child? What are they missing? What are they going to get? Like, how are we going to make sure that they are caught up and they don't become these statistics? And I have a plan for that as we get to that point. But in this period of time, I think what's important is that we're showing our children how to adapt and adjust to change. And for some of them, my child is very much like needs a set schedule. And so the transition from in-person to virtual was tough. I imagine that the transition from virtual back to in-person, whenever that happens, if that happens, is going to be tough. And so there are things that we cannot control for at this point in time. And so I think it's really important that, one, you're unapologetic about taking time for yourself so that you can show up in that space and time as you need to. And then I think the other thing that's super important too is that we prioritize, right? And we create systems aligned to our priorities so that we're not worrying about all the things, but we're focused on moving forward on the things that matter. And so as an IEP mom myself, like, there are certain things that I would love to have happen in my child's educational experience right now. And they're nice to have at this present moment because of pandemic. So I'm not focused on all those things. I'm really thinking about what is most important for my child to achieve right now in order for him to be on the path to success that I know he is destined for, that I know he is capable of. And those are the things that I'm going to fight tooth and nail about. And some of the other stuff I'm not going to worry about right now because, one, the IDEA affords us the possibility of compensatory education or compensatory services. So there are things that are not happening in virtual that maybe can't happen in the most effective way in virtual. So I'm making decisions like what really matters and what can I get on the back end when I can show that, like, these things didn't happen. They needed it. He needed it. It was in his IEP. How do we make sure that that happens later? And I keep track of that. So I'm all about being prioritized, intentional, and systematic in my approach. And I want to share that with you all. So I can't take everything off your plate. Unfortunately, I wish I had a magic wand and I could just make the pandemic go away. I could make all of these things so much simpler, the IEP process in and of itself easier. I could make sure everybody knows what their rights and responsibilities are, so I don't have to spend time educating people on what they're supposed to be doing and having conversations about that. And if I could, I would absolutely make it easier for you. But there's one place that I can help you find more peace. I can help you figure out how to do less and gain more. And I can, if you're willing to give me 90 minutes of your time, help you reclaim hours of time out of this process each time you're getting ready to approach your IEP meetings or figure out what's best for your child. So if you are available on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, I am doing a free workshop, 100% free. There is no cost to you to attend outside of just that 90 minutes of your time, to show you 6 super simple steps that you can take to rock your next IEP and make this process easier for you so that you can gain more peace. At the end of the day, I think we as women are working way harder than we're being compensated, acknowledged for. And so wherever I can help you to lift the load or lighten the load, take something off your plate, I'm here to do it. So we are going live for our free workshop. It is the Stay IEP Ready workshop. And again, I'm showing you 6 super simple steps that you can take right now to better position yourself for your next IEP meeting, for all of your following conversations that you're having with the school, and just the way that you're navigating special education, period. I get asked, what is it that attorneys and advocates know or are doing differently than what parents are doing when they go in these meetings? Because oftentimes folks will say, oh, it's different when I bring my advocate. Oh, the school acts different when my attorney shows up. Yeah, they definitely do when your attorney shows up. But I want to teach you how to do these steps so that you command the same type of presence from the school and your IEP team that happens when an advocate or an attorney comes. I think, unfortunately, the system assumes that you as a parent aren't going to know your rights. You're not going to know how this process works. And it's beneficial to keep you in a state of chaos, because when we are when our minds are not clear, it's very difficult for us to make good decisions, right? So we either get burnt out, tired, give up, or we end up having these different fights that really are meaningless and aren't going to take us to where we need to go or get our children ultimately what they need and deserve. And so I want to show you how to approach the special education process as a parent, as an attorney who's represented both parents and school systems. So I have some insider tricks, tips, hacks, etc. to help you move forward. And then also as an educator. And again, I believe at my heart, like, I am absolutely always an educator. Yep. Yes. Go on and hit the link in there. I'm going to be more than happy to talk with you. But as I said, I show up as an educator. So I was actually just in an IEP facilitation training. I do some IEP facilitation for the state also. And one of the things that we talked about was like, what's your theory about facilitation? And I am very much developmental. I want to make sure that you as a parent are equipped to go on and do this work beyond the time that you work with me. That's what's most important. I think that's what's going to move the needle for our children and all the children that come behind us. And so this Saturday, I'm going to take you through 6 super simple steps to help you get there. So if you are still tracking with me, I'm dropping the link in here to the registration page, and you can sign up and join me Saturday at 11 a.m. Again, I'm only asking for 90 minutes of your time, and I promise I'm going to give you, show up and deliver some really great tips that will help you reclaim hours of time. And I hope that you use that time that you get to enjoy more peace, to practice self-care in whatever way that it means for you. So rather than taking this time that you're about to save and using it for your children or your job or whatever, I want you to promise me that you're going to use it for you. So if that means a bubble bath, if that means reading a book, if that means sitting in a room by yourself, staring at the wall, whatever it looks like for you, I want you to commit to this 90 minutes so that you can spend hours figuring out how to pour into yourself so that you can be a better steward of the resources that you've been given. You can show up as a better wife, mother, parent, significant other, whatever it is. So with that, I hope you have a great day. Sign up. Again, we're going live this Saturday. I'm super excited about this. And let's get together and reclaim our time, right? Like, let's really be intentional about doing what we need to do as mothers, as women, to take care of ourselves during this pandemic as well. All right, you all have a great day.